everybody. Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV in Coldwater, Michigan today with the some updates on the 24RL J-Feather by Jayco over here. This is a very popular couples model. I think it fits the idea of late model tow package half-ton towability very well. Between the length and the weight, you've also got the Goodyear Endurance radials and the prep for like a full observation camera suite here and a bunch of other good things. But I like to share the good, the bad, the ugly with everything in between. This has a kitchen that is very polarizing. If you watch the comments section on this one, people are either going to say that is stupid and it sucks, or they're going to be like, OMG, that's brilliant. I'll also go out of my way to volunteer the fact that from the factory, this has a camp queen, but there's more than enough room to put a true queen in there. I kind of wish they would just do it, and if I could change one thing on this RV, that would be it. But what makes this one so popular and it keeps coming back? Well, as of last year, these are now double Azdel on the sidewalls, which is very cool. They still have those Goodyear Endurance radials. J-Feathers are like becoming really well known for having maximum length patio awnings whenever possible. This thing has a huge, mungus patio awning on it. You've got that Magnum Truss walk-on roof, and there's options for solar packages, none of which are present today. It's just solar prepped by default. But what's great about this one, again, it's like, what is it, roughly 28 feet tip to tail, tongue to bump or something like that. The weight fits nicely within half-ton towability. It works for getting in and out of spots where bigger RVs often just don't fit. Because they're too legit to quit, essentially. Enclosed heated belly, and it's completely carpetless. They get rid of all the floor vents where they possibly can, and a whole host of other things. New tankless on-demand water heater, new jacks, tons of stuff I'm excited to show you in this video. Hit that subscribe button, like our video, and let's get running. So we're starting from the back right now, all the way at the back wall. This one you see, you're looking straight down the barrel of a set of theater recliners right here. Now, if you want to, you could swap that out for a hide-a-bed and go with some max sleeping here. So this is a couples model. It can work, you know, you see you got the dinette over here in the desk, or in the, what? In the slide. Obviously, I don't edit my videos, even though I probably should. But you get the idea. You know, you've got a little dining space over there. You have some guest sleeping capacity. You have all kinds of windows that open. But if you want to be able to accommodate some, you know, occasional guests, or if you're looking for a little more cuddle-compliant seating, you might go with the hide-a-bed. Now, I get it. At a glance, if you've never seen one of my videos before, at a glance, you look at this and say, okay, well, that's really stupid because there's a huge chunk of counter space that you can't use whatsoever. I acknowledge that it's not the most traditional way of things, and it certainly will not work for everybody. But if you hang with me, I'm actually going to show for you how that's not as bad as it necessarily looks. And sometimes that's the difference between seeing something just on camera and actually getting to try it on in person. It's kind of like if you've ever bought a pair of pants. You know, the way that they look on the website or on the clothing rack isn't always the way that they fit your butt. That's the best way I think I can describe it here. Now, J-Feather does some interesting things. Every separate room basically has its own fan. Now, this being the biggest room, it also has one of those big fans. The bathroom and the bedroom will each have one of these smaller little fans, but if you wanted to upgrade to one of those, you could do that too. Today we are not looking at the modern farmhouse decor. This is what's called the, I think it's vintage washed gray or something like that. I just call it vintage. One is modern, one is vintage. This is the vintage decor. It's a nice alternative to always having the exact same decor and everything every time. It's actually one of the things I do like about Jayco. They do give you at least 2 decor options in anything that they build, whereas a lot of manufacturers go, no, this is the color we make. Deal with it, eat it, the taste is delicious. You know, it's like they don't force you into that little pigeonhole. Now, in a minute here, I'm going to open up all the storage. One of the things that you'll get to see, and it feels kind of disjointed, is around this corner, you see there's this little triangular cabinet space right there. That is going to effectively be your pantry in this model. Although you may have noticed, like, above the seating and, you know, above the kitchen space, you've got just, you know, a whole upper halo of storage space on this one. They have updated and upgraded to Insignia Smart TVs, which is a nice little touch right there. You may notice, too, this is carpetless. It's not completely ventless in the flooring. They try really hard to put the vents in low to no traffic zones, but I really like when they make the slide flooring match the main flooring like that. if it were me, you probably already know where I'm going with this if you're a regular member of the RV nerd herd. But one of the things that I say all the time is if it were me, I'd take those pedestal legs off and I'd put a pair of folding legs on it. And you know what? I stand by it. I'd do it there again. Now let's start diving into all the details here and opening up all the storage space. Got a little bit of entertainment storage around. Storage below the benches, obviously, with the booth that can fold down into a sleeper. And you may notice a nice little detail here. Blackout roller shades on all the windows. And once again, all the windows opening for airflow. The RV also has pocket screwed cabinetry, which is a nice little touch. And you've got plywood full extension drawers in here as well. Now the refrigerator, you have two different choices. You have the gas electric two-way fridge option, or you have the 12-volt DC compressor fridge, which is what we're looking at today. It's easy to not be able to visually notice that this is a 12-volt fridge, though, because Jayco's supplier has exchangeable faceplates. So the fridge always matches the decor, whereas a lot of 12-volt fridges, they're either black or stainless with absolutely no in-between. I just think it's kind of neat they give you that choice right there. Now, all the countertops in this kitchen area over here, this is a big sealed edge press membrane counter. And again, when you look at this thing over my shoulder, you say, yeah, but there's a big chunk of counter space you can't really get to there. There's a couple ways that you can use it that I think helps overcome that potential sort of hiccup. And I'm telling you, when you see this in person, it's not as bad as it sort of seems at first glance. Now, the trick with trying to demo this is I can't get you a good three-dimensional angle on it because I don't have a camera person. It's just me, and I'm doing my best out here. And this takes a lot of extra time and effort to try to do at least what I'm doing here for you. Now, the trick with being able to make this space functional is the person who sits in the seat closest to the countertop really is best going to be like, if that's the campsite cook. If you're the camp chef, you want to sit here so that when you're ready to use this space, this area over here is unoccupied. Now, with this only being a couples model, and the fact that the other chair is straight across from the TV, I don't think that's really a big ask. But if you disagree, don't get this camper. You don't have to buy this thing. There's plenty of other things you can. Oh, hey, I'm glad I sit down sometimes. There's power outlets under that overhead cabinet, by the way. Not to mention what you're seeing back here. You've got a pop-up power tower, and that's really the key, I think, to making this space maximally functional. Now, something that wasn't as obvious in the rest of my tour. You see how I'm giving an elephant an enema over here? Anyway, you get the idea. This is just a big open pocket, magazine pocket, laptop pocket, and there are some USB plugs in here. I don't know how well those showed up on camera. But now I'm all off camera. I get it. You're getting a look at my father figure, hashtag dad bod. This is always nice and easily, readily accessible. Now watch what I'm doing. Notice how I can do a sideways travel trailer two-step, and I can slide in here. They've adjusted things to make that more friendly. But basically, you've got about two foot of space something back here that is flex room. What are we going to do with this? With that pop-up power tower back there, I think that's the key. You can use that to put appliances back here, whether it's going to be, I don't know, some kind of mixer, a toaster oven, coffee maker, like you could put a big Keurig machine. That will occupy a big chunk of this counter space so that your function space remains open and unoccupied over here. Now, another reason I think that this needs to be like the campsite cook person is whoever is sitting here is kind of in front of the drawers that you saw me open. So once again, the person who does the bulk of the prep work, if you're sitting here, that means that all the space is easily accessible whenever you're ready. Otherwise, this RV is kind of clunky and it might not work for you. And I can acknowledge that. That's why they make all these different models and everything. But if you appreciate at least me taking the time to check all this out and show you the space best I could, hit that subscribe button and let's get rolling. We got a whole lot of other fun things to check on this one. And one last little look at the kitchen in another sort of pseudo three-dimensional view. Obviously, you're only looking at it in 2 dimensions off a video, but if I rotate the camera, you can kind of connect the knee bone to the leg bone to get the idea. Now, this will work us up to the bedroom and bathroom and entry area. And that's one of the other cool things you're going to see in road mode. Quick, easy bathroom access is one of the things this one does well. Not to mention, when you're at a destination, you need to hop inside, use the bathroom real quick. You got the perfect little spot to do it right there. There is fantastic space around the toilet of this one. That is something that I really liked in here. You can see how the toilet paper holder's in a position that actually makes sense. A lot of manufacturers, if they even include them, they will ship them loose so that, you can decide where you want them. Little Octopus Fight Club up nice and high. You might have noticed a little spot there for maybe if you roll up, stuff some towels. That's one of the only hiccups with this bathroom. Not a lot of great storage space here in this bath area. One of the things that is nice is that is a full medicine cabinet, not just the mirror on the wall. Counter space in this bathroom is limited also. It is a smaller RV, you know, all things considered. Now, flipping around the other direction, I'm actually in the bedroom currently. This gives us a little bit better view of the shower. Now, it's a radius shower, and the RV is 6.5 foot tall, which means my head needs to be in the skylight, and elbow room is at a little bit more of a premium on this one. If you really need to, what you gotta kind of train yourself to do is go corner to corner with your elbows when you're soaping up, and maybe decide my right or my left hand is the one that will put the soap in my hair. By the way, nice little touch. Just a simple little switch on the wall to be able to activate the lights. You see the TV hookups across from the bed over there. Notice the little shade pull, or as I always call them, drop knobs. This still has the blackout roller shades here in the bedroom. Now, I want to address something else while we're looking right here. This is a camp queen, but look at the room. There's, without question, room for a true queen in there. And I'm very much personally in the camp of if it can fit, then put it in there. Why not just, you know, ship it with a full queen from the factory would kind of be my personal preference on this. That's my 2 cents though. Now looking over here at these side stands, you see how there's household and USB plugs? There's also a little switch in between those. That switch is what will activate the little reading light behind both sides of those hanging wardrobe towers. I like to call that the little headboard power pocket. Now, giving you a better look inside there, there is a set of household outlets behind that. So USBs and households in the front, households in the back. You've got your dual hanging closets, but you notice there's a little shelf in there in case you wanted to convert that into extra dresser space if you're not a big time hanging storage type person. The bed does easy lift, and it's interesting. There's actually like a little hidden storage chest inside there. You saw me lift the decking up, and there's drawers on either side of the bed. So it's kind of interesting how they, in a small space right here, they've packed in a lot of big features very, very quickly. Now, I'm going to spin you around nice and slow like a record, baby. And we are going to flip back over here. This is that pantry I was telling you about earlier. It's just at a bit of a funky angle to try to get a good look at it from the kitchen. Or it could be a coat closet. Now, getting the bathroom door out of the way, you're going to get to see why this one has excellent road mode travel access. And isn't it crazy how much difference a slide out makes when it's in your face or when it's extended? But look at this. When it's fully retracted, there's plenty of, like, 2 people could do the sideways belly bump slide to get through here. And the fact is, basically the entire kitchen remains travel accessible in here. But better than that, again, right next to the entry door, we have our bedroom and our bathroom. And that's a dual entry bath, so it doesn't really matter which direction you're coming from. The slide out doesn't block the door. This one is, it absolutely gets the A+ in terms of the, you know, the Cracker Barrel compliance. So I talked about this a little bit when our adventure began, but let's talk towing. What's it take to get this thing down the road safely? Take another look at the weights and measures, also your, you know, your holding tanks and all that. I do personally feel this is a good qualifier for late model half-ton tow package capability, things like that. It's not too big or anything. Now, Jaycos have never known to be the lightest weight RV brand out there. They've actually always kind of developed a reputation for being a little bit heavier than everybody else. The double Azdel in the walls that they've applied to this have helped curb some of that, though, and keep this in a more reasonable weight package. But the funny thing is, it's like Jayfeather is Whitehawk's little brother, but Jayfeather does so many bigger high-end features that it's kind of easy to forget that sometimes. Like that massive patio awning. Feathers are phenomenal for patio awning space. They're very good at getting those daily feel and feature functions handled nicely. Not to mention, notice how the entry door is well under that awning arm. It's not anywhere close to it, basically. That will keep this thing from getting spritzed in the face, and it's about to let loose and rain here at any point. I'm basically on borrowed time and moving through this sucker. You got the Goodyear Endurance radial package making another turn over here. This is not approved for time travel, though. Only 87 miles an hour rated. Doc and Marty requiring 88 miles an hour. Right below the her in Jayco, we've got the outside TV hookups. That's the technical term. Technically, you could also use this. There's flagpole holders that you can mount there, although I don't think you want one of those under your awning. They've swapped over to a tankless on-demand water heater. Basically, as long as you got a little bit of battery power and you got propane, you pretty much got hot water. Those things keep up pretty nicely. And the newer generation systems they're just easier to operate. It makes a little more sense the way you're using them. The old ones, it's like you had to go back to school to learn how to use this thing. Now, what we're looking at here is actually an option, I think, on this model. So, Jayfeathers, White Hawks, basically Jaycos with outside kitchens, by default, will have some level of outside cooker, like a grill or griddle or whatever, like we're looking at here. Those that don't have a true outside kitchen, which I think this is one of those, but man, I see so many RVs. I'm so sorry. The outside griddle's an option, and it hooks right into that little, basically 2-inch receiver port off the side called the J port. Now, if you don't want to use that, you could use it for the old-fashioned bumper dumper and get rid of the neighbors, especially right over here under the campsite. And with it being under the awning, you can really just set up shop and enjoy yourself for a while. Ooh! Sorry, I saw something shiny. USB plugs right over there. Nice little spot to keep your phone outside, but Bluetooth in the music to your speakers. Yes, sir. I do like that. Although, speaking of speakers, I'd prefer them to be down a little bit lower. Now, they are surface mounted, though, so it's not a giant 4-inch hole routed out of the wall. Always going to include a ladder on these. It's not optional. It's just nice that it's there. That can get you up to the roof. And just to give you a quick peek up there, again, that has their Magnum Truss roof system where it's a plywood roof deck, 16-inch on-center heavy-duty snow load-bearing trusses, obviously walkable. You saw me get up there and record that footage. At least you presume it was me. Kind of like we don't actually know if the light turns off in the refrigerator when we close the door. Pretty sure it does, though. All windows are nicely tinted. Still, not everybody doing that. They all open for airflow, and we are finally getting the updated quick drop stabilizer jacks. And if you're not familiar with these, basically the way they work, normal scissor jacks, by the way, are not supposed to be used with like the little drill attachments and guns and whatnot that a lot of us like to use. I only recently learned that. I did not know that until recently, but those things right there, they're made to be able to handle that. So it's just a heavier duty mechanism, but it also has an additional stabilizer bar built right into it. And you can actually, there's a little guide, you can see if you're getting proper stability out of those. It's a very, very cool system. I'm glad to see that making landfall here. A lot of brands going to that, by the way. Black tank flush, outside utility shower, and a single sewer hookup, so you don't got to worry about hooking up to this, that, and the other thing. Something else I really like, these things, you might have noticed on the inside, the bed sits a little high. That's because they have a huge pass-through when that bed's over. Notice how nicely finished off that is. And again, if I'm being nitpicky, and I'm looking for trouble with mapping glasses, because I don't think there's a lot of major glaring items on this one, it'd be nice if that disconnect switch was up just a little bit higher. But you see that little white wiring loop and those little diagrams right there? You might be going, what is that? Well, that is telling you where you could wire an inverter into this RV if you were so inclined. I believe Jayfeathers are prepped for 3 outlets to their inverter wiring, basically. There's a little poster on the inside that actually shows you when you go to visit the camper exactly which ones. Oh! You do have roof solar prep. You also have that simple side mount solar prep plug over here no matter what. And down below here, it does have an enclosed and forced air heated belly to give you a very comfortable, solid, extended season sort of excursion capability. So what's your vote? Are you one of the folks that feels the bed's a deal breaker? Remember, again, you can upgrade to a True Queen like with no modifications. You just throw the thing in there effectively. Is the kitchen a deal breaker? Or once you saw me standing in front of it, did that kind of help bridge the gap a little bit? I get that this isn't for everybody, but it's a couples model. And if this isn't the one for you, remember, they make a ton of other things that may work better for you. My job, I'm just trying to show you what they are, what they aren't, and let you make the best, most educated decision possible. And along with that, you probably want to know some info on pricing, which is why I leave you links in the video description to always see where we have one parked, how it's equipped, and what we're asking, because it could vary by thousands depending on how far from the manufacturer it had to be shipped to our stores, and what equipment package could be on it. Not to mention, pricing doesn't stay static. So that link will always get you current pricing whenever you're curious or serious when you're ready to give us a call. So if you appreciate all that, hit that subscribe button, like our video. Don't. Whatever works for you. I appreciate that you tuned in today and still watching this far into the video. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.